Good evening. I'm Jerry McIntosh, and this is Our Voices, the People's Media. We'd like you to participate in the conversation with us. We as the host have comments, opinions, and facts that you may or may not agree with. We want you to fact check, Google, or research any topic that we present on the show. We need to hear all sides. So if there's something that we say that you have additional insights on, I just want to make a comment. We welcome your input. We will not welcome any calls that disrupt or anything else. So for change in the world to happen, we must talk about it and hear from all sides, then make an informed decision for action. Again, Our Voices, the People's Media. We go to our host, Mr. Bill Snow, who is the author of the great book From the Project to the Boardroom. Mr. Derek Scott, who is the chair of the Democrat Party here. And we are waiting on Jill and to come in as well. We have Mr. Vernon Watson, who is the owner and proprietor of WBQP TV, where you watch this show, whether it's on Roku, Fire Stick, YouTube, and other platforms out there, along with our Facebook, the Macintosh Principle, that you can go to and click on Our Voices. But we're going to get started. Derek.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Hope everybody out there is well, and good evening to our co-hosts. As we know, we have just a few things that we want to make sure that reiterate at this point. Right now, for those of you who do not know, COVID is on an uptick here in our community. There is a new variant that is very dangerous and somewhat unresponsive right now to the current vaccine. So what we are asking you to do is to please make sure you keep yourselves as well as your loved ones and our community safe. If you've forgotten COVID protocols, let us remind you. If you can, please continue to wear a mask when engaging in public settings. If you can social distance when at all possible, make sure you are washing your hands at every opportunity that you can get. And if you have not done so, please make sure that you schedule your booster shot, your COVID booster. You can reach out to any one of your local pharmacies, whether it be CVS, Walgreens, local pharmacies here in Escambia, Santa Rosa, Opelousas, Walton, Mobile, wherever you are listening from, as well as your other pharmacies with Aldi's and Walmart, so on and so forth. So, but we just want to make sure that you are making sure that you are safe. And that's what we have in terms of our COVID wrap up. For those of you all who are in the path of hurricanes, please make sure that you are prepared. Have your hurricane preparedness readiness kit. Make a plan to evacuate if you need. Have that already mapped out for you. Our thoughts and prayers are with those who experienced Debbie just this past earlier this week, and those who are in the path of oncoming storms now. But please make sure you have a plan, whether you stay here or you leave to travel, whatever it is, be safe. That's all that I have in terms of updates. If you want, we can go through our roundtable at this point in time. Mr. McIntosh, do you have something?
Just want to remind people of the Carol McIntosh initiative. We're going to have a lot more on that in the coming days, where we want parents and teachers and everybody in the community to partner together to make sure that our children are not suffering in school or missing out on knowledge that they should have. So we're going to address that and other issues in the coming days. And hopefully we can get Miss Lewis on with us to talk about some of the initiatives that we're doing in the coming days. And we're going to have another unveiling, if you will, of the initiative, and also working on the scholarship program. But right now, that's about it. Just want to say also that I was looking at where the Republican candidate, some of the Republican mayors are endorsing Kamala Harris because they see the greatness and the momentum in this movement that's taking place in the country. That's probably gonna that's probably gonna propel her into the White House. I know we're gonna talk more and more about that later tonight.
Okay. Thank you for that, Mr. McIntosh. Mr. Vernon, what do you have for us today?
Much, Derek. I just want to just promote my man Stanley Campbell. Stanley, he did a buy with the station, and I really appreciate that, y'all. And I want y'all to make sure that the word get out because we really need to get him in office. And so make sure we get the word spread it around that Stanley's there. Okay, so we trying to spread the word for him.
Yeah, need all of them to stop buying ads that we done had on.
Yeah, absolutely.
We done gave them a whole lot of
Free airtime.
Yeah,
And,
airtime.
So every little bit help. Every little bit helps pays the bills.
Yeah,
Here that people don't realize. Yeah, we give them a lot of free airtime. So at least they can do it in kind. I think.
yeah. I
And
mean,
they're really helping them. Really, they're helping themselves. Because I'm telling you, this part of the state really get neglected. I think they just take our vote for granted up here. You know, I'm talking about our party. Just takes our vote for granted. So
yeah,
I,
yeah, because all of them really need, because we done gave, you're not going to get no 35, 45 minutes of free airtime on any station as we do.
right.
Yeah, when they get their money, they should come through for us as well. I guess we need to send them something else to let them know, hey, we still here. We still need that jack.
All right. That's all I got right now, Derek.
Yeah, we're going to have to reach out to Debbie's team so that she can do some media buys for you so you can say vote for Debbie too.
Okay.
In this current situation right now. Bill, what do you have for us today?
Well, while we're right there, as far as candidates supporting black media, as far as Mukasa Powell is concerned, Samantha Hope Herring in our area is a big part of that campaign. So I have her number, Vernon. That's who you want to reach out to. As a matter of fact, she reached out to me earlier in the week, and I was able to get the first Harris Walsh shirt here on the Panhandle. But yeah, she is the one you want to speak with as far as getting some of them funds. I guarantee you she will make something happen as far as some kind of advertisement on WBQP.
Okay.
Then I want to say,
Bill, go ahead if you don't mind. You make sure you send me the information, or you can do it.
I will send you the information, and I will let her know to be expecting you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Absolutely, brother.
Okay.
Then I want to say that tomorrow is the first day of school here in Escambia County. So slow down. Look out for the yellow buses. There will be a whole lot more traffic tomorrow. And like on those Facebook pictures. You don't have to know them. Just like them. Let's encourage our young folk. Then the last thing I had was I reached out to Christina. Christina, she had that surgery and she's recovering, and she told me to send all her best to the panel and the viewers, and that she was with us in heart and spirit, and that's all I have.
Okay.
I'm going to contradict Bill. I thought about I was like, should I say it? No, don't say it. But I am going to say it. Just because this is our voices, and we keep things all the way 100% real. I'm just going to say Samantha Hope Herring ain't the person you need to talk to in terms of media bias. She actually doesn't even consider WBQP a form of media. because she has expressed that to the Florida Democratic Party on several occasions. So
Really?
she ain't gonna do nothing for you. Yeah, you late to the party, Bill. I know you like. I know that's your friend, but no,
Well,
that ain't
yeah,
the person for you.
I have been
Yeah,
enlightened. I did not
yeah,
know that.
yeah, that ain't the person for you. So,
Do you know who the person is?
yeah,
Yeah,
we'll reach out.
yeah.
We'll get to the folks that need to be there. I know their campaign manager very well. Jill will do something before Samantha will, but just being real with you. So,
Oh no, man. I no, I stand corrected if that's the case.
no. But yeah, all right. What I will do is I'm going to pitch it in absence of Christina Forrest, who is still recovering. She had surgery this week, so we send her all of our love from our voices, and we wish her a speedy recovery. But she sent me a list of things that she wanted me to cover. So I'm going to pitch it on her behalf. So she wanted me to remind everybody that Santa Rosa County's early voting is still happening. You can vote early in Santa Rosa County up until the 17th. I thought I would have Jill here with me so she could give me the counties, but I mean the locations, but I will look them up as we move forward. From that, if you are interested, there is also the Santa Rosa NAACP has their annual Freedom Fund banquet on August the 31st. Their special guest speaker is Senator Chevron Jones, and tickets are $50. If you are interested, please see Desi Lee or Carolyn McCrae for tickets or additional information. And Santa Rosa DWC will have their Chucks and Pearls. Sorry, let me rephrase. Santa Rosa Democratic Women's Club will have their Chucks and Pearls luncheon at the CMF Center in Milton, which is located 6151 Dogwood Drive on the 14th of September. Tickets will be on sale this week in the amount of $40. So I did want to, if you give me a second, give you the supervisor, the local elections where you can vote, early voting if you are in Santa Rosa County. And let's see, just so I have it. For early voting, you can vote if you are in Santa Rosa County at one of the following places. That is in Milton at 6495 Caroline Street. There in Milton, Florida. You can vote at the Navarre Community Gym. That's 8840 High School Boulevard in Navarre, Florida. You can vote at the Pace Community Center, which is located at 5976 Chumuckla Highway. That's there in Pace, Florida. The Santa Rosa County Auditorium at 4530 Spikes Way in Milton, Florida. The South Santa Rosa Service Center, which is located at 5841 Gulf Breeze Parkway, and at Tiger Point Community Center, which is located at 1370 Tiger Point Lane. Those are all of your early voting locations to vote if you are in Santa Rosa County. Jill said she was coming back. So what I will do is wait for her, and I will go over to Escambia County. If you are in Escambia County, please know that yesterday was the first day of early voting. You can choose any one of our 10 convenient locations here in Escambia County to vote. If you are interested, the first of those are at the Escambia County Supervisor of Elections Office, and that's at 213 Palafox Place. You can go to the the Northwest Florida Library, the main library at 239 Spring Street here in Pensacola. The Molino Community Center at 6450 Highway 95A in Molino. Asbury Place at Cokesbury Church, which is 750 College Boulevard at Pensacola. the Southwest Branch Library, which is at 12248 Gulf Beach Highway, the Bellevue Library, which is 6425 Mobile Highway, the Escambia County Extension Service, which is 3740 Stephanie Road in Cantonment, Brownsville Community Center, which is at 3200 West DeSoto Street in Pensacola, the UWF Center for Fine and Performing Arts, which is at 11,000 University Parkway, that's Building 82, and lastly, the Billy G. Ward Courthouse for those who live in North End and in Century. That is your options. You have until the 17th to vote. All early voting locations are open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you have vote by mail ballots and you wish to turn those in and you haven't mailed them in, you can take them to any one of the early voting locations and they will count them amongst the ballots that they are taking in. So please make sure that you exercise your voice through your vote this election cycle. General election cycle is, or voting is on the 20th. And so that's concludes Escambia County. And in the absence of Jill, I will do the same for Okaloosa County. They are also in the middle of their elections. Early voting started there yesterday, and will go until the 17th. If you are looking for places where you can vote, I can tell you where those are. That is the Okaloosa County Supervisor of Elections headquarters, which is at 302 North Wilson Street, Suite 102 in Crestview. You can, or the SOE's office, Supervisor of Elections office at 1250 Eglin Parkway, Suite 103 in Shalimar. You can vote at the Crestview Public Library at 1445 Commerce Drive in Crestview, the Destin Community Center at 101 Stallman Avenue in Destin, or the Niceville City Hall at 205 North Parton Drive in Niceville. Their voting hours are from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Same thing, if you have an early voting or a mail-in ballot that you would like to turn in, you can do so at any one of those early voting locations. So that concludes all of our voting opportunities and things that we have going on. We just encourage you to please don't sit this primary election out, because all politics are local, and this is the cycle that you want to make sure that your voice and your vote are represented. I'll turn it back over to you. Hey, Sharon.
How you doing, Sherry? You on mute?
Good evening, everyone.
Hey, good evening. Hey, you got anything you want to tell us about this evening with the campaign or anything?
Actually, I do. We had a music video shoot the other day, Friday afternoon, and it was a blast. We had some folks out. We did there was a crew doing a professional music video shoot for my new single, Road to Unity, which the Morissette campaign has adopted. And we had a really good time.
Yeah, I was trying to make it down there, but I thought the banquet was early than what it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and come to find out it was later than what we were told. But anyway, much later, as a matter of fact. But overall, I'm happy that y'all got it taken care of and got it done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
So look for that in the next couple weeks. We'll be releasing that.
Yeah. Y'all gonna release it with us though, right?
Yes. And we already have a remix to the song, which everybody seems to love. So I'll be publishing that this upcoming week.
Oh, right then.
And a line dance.
Oh yeah. So there's a line dance also, and we actually have a tutorial where one of the line dance instructors came up with the dance, and he did like a little TikTok video that we'll be putting out. And watch out because we'll be doing some, pop-up flash mob type stuff on this. So it's exciting.
Their campaign is moving, man. Boy, I tell you, if
Right.
I will put in a plug not only for their campaign, but for those of you all who wish to run for office in 2026. Y'all need to holler at Cheryl there. Their campaign is unlike no other. I am always.
Y'all trying to run neck and neck with Harris over there?
Yeah,
Harris.
I do believe that local politics should look as if you're running for something statewide or something larger. There should be no difference in the aesthetic and the energy. So we're kind of setting the standard, setting a new standard for the way politics is done in Pensacola.
Yeah.
Also, just want to say, Dr. Williams, their banquet was nice. The food was good. We had a lot of that there. So, yeah, it was really nice the other night. Vern, you were there. Did you eat much?
Jared, that was some good old country burnt corn food. I eat a lot of that food. It was good. I'm telling you, it was delicious. I don't know who cooked it. Was it Fanny that cooked that food?
Yeah, Fanny Finkley then.
And it was plenty of it. I'm talking about good old down home country food too.
Everything was homemade.
Yeah.
She caters as well.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think she may. I'm not sure.
Oh,
but
okay.
I know that they can cook.
They sure can. That food was good. It really was good.
Yeah. And can I also give a shout out to the Coalition for 100 Black Women Pensacola chapter. They had their hat show today. I think their theme was a splash of color, and it was quite nice. So hats off to Linda Robinson and her organization. They did yet another commendable hat show. So we had an opportunity to go sit with that, and so that was a great time this afternoon. I was like, I've been to Corrine Jones quite a lot this week, in the last couple of days, but that was nice. Can I also say, because I'm saying it here for people who are watching, as we have a lot of folks who have asked, everybody has asked for Kamala Harris signs. When are we getting Kamala Harris signs? Are you getting Kamala Harris signs? Why do you not have Kamala Harris signs? And I am here to tell you that we have officially placed in order at the Escambia Democratic Party for Kamala Harris signs, yard signs. For those who are interested, please call starting tomorrow, 850-407-7997, and let us know that you would like to be placed on the reservation list for yard signs. They will go for a nominal donation amount, because we actually had to pay for these because the campaign won't get yard signs for quite some time now. So please make sure that you give us your name, telephone number, and your email address so that we can put you on the reservation list so that you can be the first in the Panhandle to get Kamala Harris Walls yard signs. They will be available right around the 20th of this month. So please give us a call. Again, that is 850-407-7997. our office is open from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday, soon to be Monday through Saturday. And you can give us a call or come by at 2618 Martin Luther King Drive, which is at the intersection of Martin Luther King and Cross Street. We are in the building that most everybody knows as the Doris Hayes Healthy Hair Salon. We're in the front suite, and we are privileged to be in the building with Ms. Doris Hayes and our wonderful campaign folks of Haley Morissette, who also share the building as well. So come in and stop by whenever you can.
Hey, Derek, let me play.
Yes.
If y'all can hear that, let me play this for you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Vernon. I'm over here in the bar in Santa Rosa County where it's all Republicans. And what I'm trying to find out, I'm a Democrat. I'm trying to find out where the Democratic headquarters is in Pensacola. It's supposed to be on MLK. Can you text me the address back?
All right.
Otherwise, I just got to go and start looking on MLK, and I don't even know where MLK is because I don't have a smartphone. I just got an old flip phone. I'm from the old school, 73 years old. But I just want to get some Kamala signage. Put it out over here in this county.
Yep.
All right.
So what I can give you, Vernon, I will text you our address, and then I will text you if she wants to go to the one in Santa Rosa, because I thought she said she was in Santa Rosa County, if I heard her correctly.
Yeah,
she
she's in Santa Rosa County, yes.
Yeah, but I will tell you that we'll be the only people who have yard signs by the 20th. So
Say the address now. She's listening.
It is 2618 2618 Dr. Martin Luther King Drive, Pensacola, Florida, 32503. We are open from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. 850-407-7997. It is at the corner of Martin Luther King and Cross Street in Pensacola.
And we have Jill, who has joined us, one of our most brilliant sisters. Jill.
Hello, I don't know how brilliant I was. I couldn't figure out Zoom to save my life today, but I'm at my son's house. I've got 3 different computers, and I finally figured it out. So happy to be here. Good to see everybody. Good evening, everyone.
So we are officially. I did, Jill, cover your early voting stuff for Okaloosa. Was there anything else that you wanted to share or needed everybody to know since we're in the roundtable portion?
I need everybody to know they need to go vote. And I'm sure Derek already told you that, and Cheryl and Bill and Vernon and Mr. McIntosh. So it is critical that we take this midterm, this primary election very seriously. This is your opportunity in many of our counties, if not all, and across the state of Florida, to choose your local political future. So this is also the opportunity to have an example of what it's going to look like. They are absolutely going to look at the numbers, even though it's a primary, and they are going to share all this probably inaccurate information, but they will base it on what does the primary look like. So we're asking everyone to take the time. Early voting is open across the county, across the state through the 17th. And of course, you can always go vote on the 20th. You can always do vote by mail, but please don't allow your local politics to be chosen by someone else and then sit back and complain about it. This is our opportunity. So if you want to make sure that your voice is heard, your vote counts, and that your community is represented by people that you're going to hold accountable, but that are fighting for you, then you need to vote during this primary election. Thank you.
One of the things that's happening now.
Really quick, Vernon, I know you're going to tell me about my light, but I don't have my ring light today because I'm somewhere else. So I know. Go ahead.
just want to say that oh, before we get into the meat of the issues, the Olympics has been. Man, I think it's over. It was over with today, wasn't it?
Yes.
It ends today, yeah.
I think America and China have taken the bulk of the medals, but the American track and field and gymnastics and all kinds of stuff have, and basketball, both women and men. I mean, it's been really, really great to watch. And I mean, what can you say about Simone Biles? I mean, just awesome. And that when she would do that pommel on that beam, and she up 12 feet high, I'm like, good gracious, for a person to be that short and to leap that high and spin 3 or 4 times, then wiggle around and all whatever they call it. I'm like, that is just awesome. I imagine people can't even imagine what she have to do, the twisters with her body and all of that. I mean, she the most decorated gymnast in the world now, And then they have named some of these, some of the things that she do after her. And one lady said because other people can't do it, she wanted to reverse everything. She wanted to take it away from one of the judges. They like, no, 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 no. We can't do that. But yeah, it's been just great seeing all of the athletes. One of the other top athletes from Brazil, she won gold over there too. She beat out Simone and what's her name, Sue, on in one of the gymnastic programs. But other than that, Simone Biles had dominated everything. So really, really good. But we'll move on to Kamala Harris. What do y'all think about Kamala Harris? And is this a movement, a moment, or what? Cheryl, give me some answers on that.
I think she has rejuvenated the people. This campaign, I haven't seen this much energy around the campaign since Barack Obama. I think people are ready for something different. Even people I didn't expect to be behind her, they're behind her. But then you have to also look at the alternative, right? It's not just about her, but democracy is on the ballot. Like the future of our country, and Project 2025. All of these things are on the ballot. So I'm very optimistic. I really think she's going to win because there's too many negatives on the other side, and I'm proud that she's a Black woman.
Derek, tell what happened on Sunshine Corner with you the other day, because I went on the next day after Derek.
Yeah,
that was the best TV ever.
Yes, well, that Wednesday, I had the privilege of going over to Blab TV. Shout out to Sunshine. Everybody knows her from the radio. She now has a show on Blab TV called Sunshine's Corner. I've been on there a couple of times, but this week was a little different in the fact that it was set up as a debate. And I had the pleasure of being joined by John Roberts, who is the chair of the Escambia County Republican Party. And so it was a debate on, the state of where, the election is going, the state of where we are as a state and as a county. And, what I will say is, I think it went okay. It's tough because I listened to people. I guess what my major takeaway is sometimes I think Republicans forget that everybody doesn't believe what they're saying at all times, because they will say stuff and just be like, oh yeah, okay, and you're like, wait, what are you talking about? That's not actual. And so he started off with that typical, to me, who I consider to be racist undertones of calling her Kamala and everything other than Kamala, so that irritates me. So I took that as an opportunity, as a teaching opportunity to say, before we go any further, I'm gonna teach you and everybody else who purposely mispronounces her name or how to say it. It's Kamala, like the punctuation, Kamala. Then I guess he was a little taken aback because every time he said it, he got it right after that. He looked at me like for approval, like I got it right. I'm like, proceed, and so there were topics we talked about Project 2025, and he didn't really give answers. Somebody asked a very specific question about the benefit of Project 2025 to the American people. And he started talking about inflation and gas prices and abortion, had nothing to do with the topic at hand. And I was, compelled that he talked for about 3 minutes and said nothing. And I'm like, wow, every opportunity, I guess what Sunshine told me, as you watch it, she'll say, like, your facial expressions read what you're saying. You can't hide anything. And so I was screaming, I guess, with stuff he was saying, and it just wasn't I don't think it went so well on his point. Every time we had a commercial break, he'd get a little irritable with the direction of where things were going. But I held his feet to the fire. Like, look, you can't say this and then expect that. He talked about, somebody called a very specific question that I remember being asked was, it was around immigration, right? And, they always talk about the southern border and securing the southern border. And, my point to him is like, Republicans talking about immigration would be a much more viable discussion point if you talked about immigration as a whole or securing borders, both all points, north, south, east, west. But you only focus on the southern border, which makes it appear that you are concerned about people of color coming into the country, right? And so I said, you never say anything about the northern border, which at this point in time, the fentanyl crisis, we know the majority of it is now coming from the northern border, not the southern. But the question that was asked of him was, are you talking about the southern border? Well, let me rephrase. As I said what I said about him only being concerned about people of color, he's like, I'm not concerned about just people in Central and South America. Mind you, I said people of color. He said, I'm concerned about Africans, Asians, the Chinese, the Indian. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you do understand what people of color are, right? Like, you said, I'm not just concerned about Central, I'm also concerned about these people. Okay, those are people of color, right? Maybe you don't understand what the definition of people of color is. But, the question that someone posed was, are you concerned that if you allow these people to migrate and become citizens, they will join the opposition party and you won't be in power anymore? And he said, yeah. And I'm like, it threw me because I was like, oh, okay, well, that was very honest. Maybe you didn't understand the question, because he answered it, which I thought was a very honest question, but I didn't think that he would be that honest, right? And I mentioned, I talked about the way he was talking. I was like, he's saying the quiet part out loud, but all right. A lot of it was very racist, had a lot of racist undertones. And so it just didn't ring authentic. And I think people who were watching had the ability to see through. Because the people who called were very much, although we live in a very Republican or reddish area, the people who were calling didn't seem to be on his side, so it was very, it gave me a glimmer of hope that Escambia County might actually do the right thing, right?
Hey, Derek, on that issue of immigration, You know, they always talk about the southern border, but you know, most folks not of color sneak in this country by overstaying visas. So
Right.
nobody talk about that. You know,
Right.
they get an opportunity to get visas to come in this country and they just never go back. So
Right.
you're gonna tighten up on everything, on everything.
Right. Right. You
Right.
know, it's that was the point. Like you keep talking about, you know, the points that you were making was that the amount of fentanyl is solely due to the issue that we have about around securing the southern border, which we know that under President Biden's administration, the fentanyl that has come across the southern border has decreased by 50% and during his term. You know, and now it's making its way the opposite way because nobody's looking at the other side of the top half of the nation, right? So we know that and we're aware of that, but yet it's this. He talked about he parroted the same talking points and vitriol that you hear on the national talking stage with the people need to be vetted, and you need to worry about this because they're, Mexico and Central and South America opening their prisons and their mental institution and allowing those people to come into the United States, which we know is categorically false, right? There's not one point that you've heard, oh, Mexico says, okay, you're free, go on over there. Like that doesn't happen, but yet they keep parroting these same talking points that we know to be false.
On top of that, that's like you said, a national talking point. But what they fail to realize that when you're sitting down face to face with somebody that know the issues is much better than they do, because all they do is parrot whatever is being said. So when they have to sit down and really talk to you, if they got to talk to you and from a debate standpoint, they can't do it. That's why they always try to overtalk you and try to shut you down while you're talking. And just, and make it like more chaotic. And that's when you have to tell them, look, I'm talking now. I'll listen to you, spill your rhetoric. Now it's time for me to talk. And that's what you have to do to them, because that's what they will do every time, is try to keep you from talking and keep the people from really understanding what's going on. And that's how they keep people confused through their national talking points. Whatever comes down, that's what they talk about. They all of them parrot it from the very top all the way to the very bottom, and that which makes no sense, because half of the thing they saying is not based in any truth or any anything of that of substance. So it just I'm going to do this and that's it.
Yeah,
So
it's strange. Like, I guess I was amazed. You hear the talking points, you hear them on the main stage, right, at the national level. But it just reinforced to me, I will say to Republicans' advantage, their people are lockstep with what they say, right? Whether you are talking, whether it's J.D. Vance or as local as John Roberts, the talking points and the statements are verbatim the same, right? I wish we as the Democratic Party could mirror that strict script, like, in terms of messaging. But it's just interesting to hear it at the local level and with such conviction when it's false, like, right? But like when we go back to Project 2025, we talked about this and the harm and the detriment that it does. When we were on Blab, this man looked me in my face and told me that Project 2025 does not reduce veterans' benefits. There's no place in Project 2025 that says that. And I'm like, you're not for real, right? You're like, luckily we got page 631. Like, what are you talking about? Well, like, I don't have to lie. For the people, go and read it yourself. Give him a page, and he's like, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say that. And then, like, I don't claim to be an expert, but he's tried to give me a crash course on inflation and economics, and I'm like, whoa. That's not what you want to do, right? Like, I'm the last person that you want to do that with. That's my degree. Let's be clear. This is what I went to school for. Like, and what he said was so factually incorrect. And I guess I didn't mean to say it like that, but I can be a little bit, hurt at times. Well, I simply said, when I was at the University of Florida, we didn't learn it like that, but I'm happy to entertain whatever version your economics teaches you, but that's not how that works, right? And so he just kind of looked at me like, yeah, I know, but like, so why are you saying it, right? It's just different. I am always amazed, but what I will say is that they would like us to return again in the same format, and I'm eager to do so.
One of the things that one guy I talked to, he was saying, well, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, it was a black guy on top of it. I'm like, they haven't done anything. I said, have you heard about the American Rescue Plan?
Right.
No. I said, the bipartisan infrastructure bill. No. The CHIP Act. No.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I said, you can just Google that right now. I said, you got children, right? Yeah. Well, did you hear about the what was that called? The child, that when they sent the money for
child
each child tax credit? Yeah. Child tax credit. I said, did you get any money with that? Yeah. I said, who cut that off? Well, Joe Biden did. I said, no, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
They tried to keep it going. I said, but the Republicans stopped.
You're right.
He jumped on integration with me. I said, Trump just told them last month to not pass the immigration legislation because it would make Joe Biden look good and make him look bad. So right. I said, now, we have to know what we are talking about when we are spreading stuff. You have to know how government works. You have to be read up on something. I said, all you have to do is say anything you want to do is at your fingertip. Google it.
Yeah.
Google what the accomplishments of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And then he wanted to talk about how many black people that Kamala Harris put in prison. I said, well, you need to Google that too. I said,
because the answer is none. Let's dispel that. Let's dispel that myth right now, right? So as we hear people say that, it irks my soul to hear, especially our people who have bought into this narrative that they have heard from the right, that has somehow made its way into fact-based, things, that Kamala Harris locked up black folks at an alarming rate. That absolutely is not the case. She didn't lock up anybody as DA, as Attorney General. In fact, under her reign as Attorney General, black people were sentenced, for first-time simple possession charges at a rate that was almost 0%. So what are you talking about? Like, and you start talking about the her First Step Act and her I forget the name of it, what she did as Attorney General, giving people alternatives to being incarcerated. From that standpoint, and that drastically impacted communities of color, because black people are impacted or have a desperate impact of incarceration as it relates to drug-related offenses. So what are you talking about, right? It's absolutely crazy. And they say it with such confidence, like, just as well as they know their left foot is left, they know that Kamala Harris did this. And it's like, that didn't happen.
And then I told about I said, it was Kamala Harris that wrote the George Floyd and Policing Act as the senator. You know, and there was other things that she wrote while she was Senate, while she was the senator of California that has benefited Black people tremendously. You know, so she was behind making sure that Blacks had the opportunity to participate in the infrastructure bill and the American Rescue Plan and the CHIPS Act. She made sure that, you know, all you got to do is look up the legislation that she has proposed for the country.
Yeah.
And that's why she's running away with this election, because people that are beginning to see what she have done. And it was not Black, because they knew that her potential, even when she was running in California, they knew her potential was she could possibly get to the White House. And they people like that when they come on board like that and come with fire. She came with fire and won the Attorney General for the biggest state in the country, in California. So
we have a very active Facebook feed tonight. Rhonda Moore says, yes, California AG, California legalized weed first. She says military can simply look at their medical bills, Medicare, hello. Medicare is primary, then secondary, TRICARE. She said that the Republicans name call as soon as a fact is produced. And that is most definitely the strategy from the top. They have no real sense of accomplishments on the Republican side. Per Republicans, they have nothing to run on. So when it's like that, all they can do is hurl insults. That guy that sat down with you, Derek, didn't realize that he was jumping in the ring with a bear, man, an educated Black man that knows his stuff. And the intimidation process, anytime they're talking to someone that knows the facts, they have no recourse. And they are the best at pivoting. You ask them one thing and they talk about what they want to talk about as if they didn't even hear the question. So yeah, Rhonda Moore on our live Facebook stream.
One of the things, because I want to jump, I'm glad you mentioned that fact. One of the things that we had talked about before I got offline, me and Jill was offline on another issue here. But one of the things I want to point out to you, Derek, about this talking points that the Republican Party puts out there. They have the same talking points. But ask them where the evidence. Everything that they say, there's no evidence to back up anything that they're saying. You know, when they
don't care nothing about facts, Vern. They don't care anything about them.
I know, but the public ought to care about facts. That's what's the problem with the campaign, the Trump campaign. The media and everybody else leaves those lies unchecked. You know, so whenever they spew some lies, fact check them. That's where the facts to support what you're saying. Are you saying it, but there's no facts behind it?
If we spend our airtime rebutting their lies, we wouldn't get our points across. That's all they do, man. And we don't want to be on the defense the whole time. We want to talk what Jerry just said, the accomplishments, not only just of Kamala, but the Biden administration. But if we start that fact-checking thing, man, and answering, we won't have time for
I'm sorry to disagree with you, Bill, but I'm telling you, if a lie is a lie is a lie, if you don't confront it.
So much, though, Vern.
I know, but you just cannot let those lies stand, or because it become a truth. If you don't counteract it with some kinds of facts, then the lies remain a lie.
I agree with you, but man, they do so much, man. The guy, Lee, man, you can't run all that mess down.
Certain points. Yeah, that like when I was with John, he said he talked about the Biden's policies on oil, his everyday policies have led to the increase in gas prices. So I was like, so which policies are those? And he looked like
that.
Right.
That's a strategy.
I'm like, I just want to know which policies. I asked the question twice, and he didn't answer one. He's just like, oh well, his drilling and fracking. And I'll be honest, that's not my strong suit. I'm not versed in drilling and fracking, but that's okay because I have folks who are watching. Shout out to Cheryl and Hale. They were like, Let me send this to you real quick. And I read it over the commercial break while we were there, and I was like, there you go. And then someone called in to talk about it, so I didn't have to do much. But yeah, you do have to fact check. Yeah, I do agree.
That's a strategy of theirs. Keep us on the defense. Keep us on all of them goose chases with all them man.
One of the strategies that we're not addressing is social media, because a lot of these talking points are put out there as like, you know, like the Twilight Zone music, and like they've discovered something and they're sharing it, so people think that they're getting like some deep information about Harris, but it's made up. So it's I mean, they're playing a really, really tight game as it pertains to the misinformation. And you know, like you said, we're fact checking, but we have to hit them with the truth as well on social media.
There you go.
And things like that.
Dondre Wise on our Facebook stream says counter lies with greater facts. Counter lies with greater facts. That's right.
Yep. That is very true. I mean, they will. It's the and it's the same parroting. Like it's amazing. I remember the guy when we started talking on it. I went straight in because I'm like, let's address people where they are with respect to their pocketbooks. Right here in Northwest Florida and Escambia County, the state of Florida, people aren't happy. And he was like, oh, Floridians are happy. You know, we are economically prosperous. We have a balanced budget. And I looked at him like, there's not a person on earth in the Escambia County that is living in poverty or whatever the case may be, or struggling. They can't pay their groceries. Be like, that's okay. I can't eat. But hey, the state of Florida has a balanced budget. You sound ridiculous. Like, people are trying to worry about paying their property tax and their homeowners, their property insurance, and whether they're going to have it. And what if they're going to be dropped? And you hollering about a balanced budget? Get out of here! Get out of my face! Like, it sounds crazy.
We had a debate where a guy said on national TV and around the world that Democrats kill babies after they're born. Man, how you gonna run something like that down, man? Just really, man. I think they underestimate the intellect of the voting people. The vote now, some of the voters in this country, I get it, but hey, that's neither here nor there. But I think the intellect of the average voter is a lot wider than to know that Democrats don't kill no doggone babies after they're born.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Bill. Tell them where the evidence of that at. Ask them. You saying that? Where your proof of that? You know it's not true.
You don't even have to go to that point with that. Like, on that topic, that is the most irritating thing. Because let's talk about. To me, I don't have to look for facts or empirical evidence. All I have to use is the meanings or the definitions of the word, right? So abortion means to stop, or in this case, to terminate a pregnancy, right?
Right.
That's the definition. You end a pregnancy. If you have given birth, that's the completion of a pregnancy, right? Like, so, like,
there you go. Thank you.
You can't terminate.
Right. That's murder.
You can't murder after birth. That doesn't even make any sense. Like, the game or the end result of an abortion, whether we're talking about from a medical standpoint, it terminates a pregnancy.
Mm.
You're no longer pregnant. So what? Remind me how that works. Like, tell me, like, what's the train of thought that I don't get? So you're looking like I don't agree.
Here, T.D. Taylor, one of our faithful Our Voice viewers, says, I just find that disputing lies is useless. The people who believe will never change their mind as disputing it keeps lies alive. Ron Moore weighs in with, I love screenshots. It can shut someone up quick. Charts of the Dow and NASDAQ all the way back to 2016. They understand the public's attention span, Dondre Wise. Live active Facebook stream tonight.
Yeah.
Hey, Bill.
Yes, sir.
I can make an announcement on this TV today that you died today. Okay.
They do it all the time.
Okay.
I see
and
dead
you
celebrities
hear
every day.
I
see
should
them,
say
man.
Bill died this
Oh.
morning, and you hear on the television, and unless somebody check that, you say no, you're not. They're gonna accept that as facts. Okay, that's my point. He need to go. They need not go in and check. You don't have to argue about it, but you just can't leave those damn lies unchecked. You know, and that's the other thing I have with the media. They don't. They talk about President what's his face name Rump, or whatever his name is. Oh, he make false claims. There ain't no false claim. Those are damn lies, and those lies should be checked. Okay, that's all I'm saying. It should be checked with facts.
Brother Heisem said that, people who follow cults, they don't care nothing about facts. As a matter of fact, he said the people that's spewing that are going after the effect rather than facts. So they are putting out, they want to see the effects of what they put out there. They don't care how it come about, whether it's fact checked or not, because the damage been done once you put something out there like that. And I'm kind of paraphrasing Brother Heisem here a little bit, but yeah, like say, they just want the effect. They don't care nothing about the fact. They know that the average person is not going to fact check them. They're not going to go and find out information for themselves. And I think people are a little bit more astute though than what they think.
Me too.
Yeah, because when I was looking at the news today, the Republicans now are saying they are endorsing Harris.
That's right.
The mayor, what was his name? John Giles.
Arizona.
Mesa, Arizona.
Yeah, he endorsing Kamala Harris because he want to say he said that the chip program that they got out there in the infrastructure bill, he said they got infrastructure plans going on all over Arizona as a result of that infrastructure bill, and also the American Rescue Plan. So he said we'll be supporting Harris and Walz on this time around.
Yeah, for those who are not familiar with the Republicans for Harris are a group of Republicans who, seems like the public face of them are the folks out in Arizona, the mayor, but it's designed to target those individuals who were Nikki Haley supporters and go there, which is funny because Nikki Haley, their design is to appeal to those voters because they did not want Donald Trump, in any shape, form, or fashion, right? So when you look at that, that's who it is. But it's crazy because, I appreciate Republicans for Harris. Go ahead, rock on. But like when you look at it, they are, she got up on everybody's good television on Channel 3, 5, Fox, and everything else, and said, "Oh, I rock with Donald Trump." And now your folks are like, we don't. So
it would be nice
for us, right?
Yeah, it would be.
She actually sent them a cease and desist to stop using her likeness and her Haley voters for Trump, and all that stuff. She said, "Stop it! Now you're making me look bad because I done sat up here and look and did all that shucking and jiving, talking about I'm voting for Donald Trump. Now your people are like, okay, well that's you. Ain't got nothing to do with me."
I would like to see one of those phone calls like they did black white dudes for Kamala or whatever the name of that was. They should do one for Republicans for Harris for president.
I think they've already started.
They've already done it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And there you're talking about the Haley supporters. What's her name?
Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley supporters. But there's also those Republicans, those devil Trumpers, with the Lincoln Project. They there as well, supporting. They have long supported anybody other than Trump. Those kind of Republicans. And what they ought to have, all of those folks that served in his administration should to be out there beating the drum, because they know that he's an existential threat to our society. So they need to be out there hitting the drum. The Secretary of State and all those folks that work for him, they need to be out there on that stump right now. That's
Mhm.
Derek, when you said that guy talked about gas prices as well. The president nor Congress has anything to do with gas prices.
Right, but he swears, he's like, no, President Biden controls. I was like, we all know, and I was very clear. Like, I wasn't even going back and forth in the argument. We both know that President Biden doesn't control gas prices. That's done by OPEC. So let's move on in that conversation. We're not going to have a whole breakdown for the people of how OPEC controls gas prices, because that's a whole show in and of itself, right? But
There
like,
you go.
we both know that. But like, I'm not. My name is not Boo Boo. So you can't say those things around me, and I'll be like, well, I guess he does.
There you
That
go.
doesn't happen, right?
You should have asked him when the last time he went to the gas pump. The gas prices are actually lower now than it was.
Right.
And another thing too, they're talking about, are you better off today than you 4 years ago? No, you should be asking the question, are you better off today than you were during 2016 and 2020? That's what you should be asking yourself.
Jill, we don't hear from you.
I'm listening to you guys. I agree with 90% of it, but I still would say to you, there are some people that you're not going to change their mind because they stood up in that stage. So remember, the RNC, just like the DNC is about to do in just a few short days in Chicago, they stood up there, full faith, all in, no questions, not a conversation. Go, let's go. Those people that were some of them, if you think about it, the more you know about the Democratic Party, the more I now realize those are some everyday people that might be state committee women, might be legislators, they might be deep into politics. But those are not just people that he has his arms wrapped around. Those are everyday people. And those everyday people said, let's go. Now, do I think some of them, with it not being Biden, will jump on the Kamala? Hey, there's another choice, like a true another choice. Not that there wasn't one with Biden, because there was. But my question for me is, other than Biden's age, there's no real difference between the Kamala theory, the VP Kamala and Biden. If you couldn't do Biden, do y'all really believe that these same people are going to all of a sudden, when they get in the ballot box by themselves in the dark, go and check that box? I can say one thing and I can do another. And we know that through Hillary losing. Because all those people that they called, that's why they did that special report on CNN, on all of the news stations, and called those people. And they said, yeah, we told y'all what you wanted to hear. But when we went in the ballot box, we did what we wanted to hear. So I don't disagree with anything that we're saying, but I don't want us to get comfortable. Matter of fact, Kamala Harris said the same thing. VP Harris got up there on the stage. She even addressed her hecklers. And then she said, now that you've been addressed, and now that I know that you have a concern and I'm here for you too, we need to get back to winning in November 2024. It's about all of us. But we can't get comfortable and think that just because this is going so very well, and it is, that this ripple of waves is anything like a tsunami. Because a tsunami only happens if November 5th we win. Then I'll be the first to tell you the tsunami came. I'll tell you whether it was in Florida. I'll tell you whether it was in Escambia, Okaloosa, Santa Rosa, or we were just a part of the trickle. I don't really care. But until that point, ripples don't make tsunamis. Waves do, but not ripples. And we're rippling in Florida. And we're rippling, I would say, around the country. They might be actually causing waves, maybe even strong storms of waves. But I just don't want us to get comfortable. We've got a long way to go in a short time. A long way to go in a short time. a long way to go in a short time, and we can't get comfortable. So I love the passion, especially from our new DEC chair in Escambia County. Derek, you have gone from I didn't do anything for Andrew Gillum to let's go, which is fabulous. Sure wish we had you back there with Andrew. Maybe he would have won. But now that you're in, remember, Andrew lost too. So let's not get comfortable. And it was the drip of the panhandle that made him win in the primary. Absolutely. The phone calls were made. Like, it's up to y'all. It's up to y'all. It's neck and neck. It's up to y'all. I'd love for that to be the way it's going to be. And the only way that's going to happen is if we start in August and we let all of this energy and all of this passion. And to me, I think he doesn't yell at me, but Bill might give me a gentle conversation. I don't think it's, I agree, Vernon, that we tell them the truth, but they freaking know the truth. I don't need to tell you the truth. Like Derek just said, if you don't know the difference between abort and have a baby, I mean, it's two separate issues. If you don't know that, us talking about it and sharing it with them is not like, oh, light bulb came on. Thank you, Derek Scott. I now understand. I really appreciate you. I'm going to go vote for VP Harris now because you cleared that up for me. Thank you. Here, I'm going to bring you my friend. Hey, friend, talk to Derek. Matter of fact, talk to Cheryl. Cheryl's going to tell you the truth. And now that you know the truth, that's not the way it works. Like, that's in the happy world of I don't know what, but we don't live there. We live in reality. So yeah, they do need the truth, but Vernon, they know the truth. I don't think you let the lies sit there, but the more we talk about the lies, that's all they wanted. All they wanted was it to just be there. They just want to be able to say it and make people start talking about it and blow it up into this thing where they've got to go and research. And if I got to research, I don't want to research. And now I don't want to go vote. It just is, they have a plan, and their plan is not with truth. Their plan is purposeful lies that make you have to either think, go do something, or make you want to be intimidated to that. If it's true, I don't want no parts of it. So we don't have time to sit there and go and, I mean, great, Derek. Derek, we're going to send you across the country, and Derek is going to go and fact check for us.
Yeah.
That's on time. But
Vern going to do the fact
for
check.
their group, now that poor gentleman probably felt like, I don't know why I'm up here. I didn't know what I was getting into.
Didn't have a clue.
However, for the rest of their party, I just think some people are already where they're at, and we have to focus on those that are more in the middle of I don't know what to do, as opposed to no, I believe this and I want you to change my mind. I don't think that is
So you think
I think there's so much to do that if we're spending all our time doing that we'll be in the weeds.
That's right.
In the swamp.
Yeah.
And I where the gators are, and that's great, but I don't think UF can do this for us, Derek. I'm sorry, it's going to take way more than that. Just saying.
Why are you going to bring University of Florida?
Just saying.
All right.
Because I was in the swamp. I'm just saying.
There's enough on the ballot to get people either scared enough or excited enough to want to get out. Because there's, some people have checked out of the whole election process, but like making it make sense to them to come out. Like the amendments is a great, like, you should get out the vote, kind of carrot to dangle, because it affects everybody, Amendment 4, if you're a woman or you care about a woman, like her health should be important enough to go out and vote for. It's a lot at stake this November.
That's right. The Republicans have given us a lot of nuggets. What the enemy meant for evil, they have given us a lot of nuggets. All we got to do is run on their terrible record and our great record and not get in the weeds. Now, y'all know this has to be fact because Jill doesn't agree with me on nothing.
You just got to get the people out there early voting, mail-in ballots, all of that. Just get them voting.
Jill saying they're going to get Parkinson's disease when they get in that booth.
Now, I agree wholeheartedly.
Let's
On
clarify.
that
Wait a minute.
Gillum
Let's
thing, and that
clarify.
was back.
Whoa,
That-
whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, stop.
They
Jill did
did.
not say that they were going to get Parkinson's disease. They won't get their own truth disease, which they cannot continue to tell you all the lie. They're going to live their truth.
That is
I
a
don't think
fact.
they're going to have any kind of disease. I think that fundamentally, people know, for the most part, what they're going to do when they go in there. To Cheryl's point, I think some of them will go in and they'll vote on those issues. They'll vote on the amendments and they might not vote on the rest. To Jerry's point, it's not Parkinson's, it's not amnesia, it's not any of that. It is they have a truth that they live, and they like to sometimes be a wolf in sheep's clothing.
I agree with that.
That's the way they are. And but
we saw it. We just
what
saw it.
happens only happens in that ballot box, or your vote by mail ballot, or early voting, or whatever. But that's when it happens. It doesn't happen from just talking and saying, hey, I'm taking 10. I'd love to take 10. I need that before you take the 10, let's educate the 10 so that the 10, when they go, don't accidentally make a mistake and vote the wrong way because they don't know. That can happen in this primary election with people thinking that they're hearing stuff from people that shouldn't, that might say something that might make you think that that is the way you should do. And I would say to you, before you cast your ballot, that you need to check truth, check reality. And when we're voting in the primary, I'm just going to say this, when you're voting in the primary, and especially if the person has to move on to the general, remember they have to be electable. This isn't about who you like. Bill, I like you, but if Vernon's the best person, I got to go with Vernon. Not because I dislike Bill. Bill can be my best friend, but Vernon's the one who can actually run the ticket and have the probability to win.
Yeah,
Then
but
that's who I should choose.
But he over
We're
there
so
busy fact
stuck
checking.
in, and better yet, what I could say is Vernon is as wonderful as Vernon looks today. If the person that we need to vote for is not Vernon and they are either a different background, let's say they might be Hispanic or they might be Caucasian or they might be Asian, or all those color people's names that the gentleman said that weren't people of color, any of them, then guess what? This is not about always going with your comfortability. Yes, we're comfortable and we want people that look like us on the ballot, but we also want people who are going to win. Kamala is not on that ballot because she's Black. She's on there because she is the best choice for the Democratic Party and for the Republican Party and for the MPAs and any other party, all the other 7, 10, 15, 20 parties. She's the freaking answer. The fact that she's Black is just a gift from God. You don't like it, take it up with him. Not our problem. Can't help it. But if she wasn't Black and she was white or Hispanic or Asian, she still would be the same badass, and we should vote for her. Just saying. That's where I'm at. So all of you, before you go August 20th, stop voting just because somebody looks like you or you like them or because they're your best friend or whatever, and vote the ballot that's going to get us a win in November and locally, period. That's the answer.
There is a very clear message in what Jill just said. So I hope you all received it, because it was very clear. We appreciate you. If you need an interpretation, call me offline. I'll be happy to provide it to you.
Dondre Wade says Jill was sitting on heat. Dondre Wise on our Facebook stream.
Now, Derek, Trump went to Georgia and attacked Kemp.
The devil went down to Georgia.
Yeah, he went to attack Kemp down there. Kemp is the governor, who is a Republican.
A popular.
Extreme right-wing Republican. Just as extreme as Trump, but more intelligent. But Trump went down there and attacked him. Then I began to wonder, is this some kind of Jedi trick, mind trick they're trying to play on to get all these people to turn out for Kemp? You know, do you think that they are that smart, Bill?
No. This is just, they say Donald Trump doesn't read well, and that's why he doesn't, it's hard for him to stay on script. They say he's not really that bright. And they see he run over commas and commas, Kamala, thanks, Derek. But he run over commas, exclamation marks. But when you don't have anything to run on, you just hurl insults. And he doesn't just hurl them at people of color. He hurls them at anybody that isn't bowed down. And Kemp, he made a big mistake in Georgia coming there the day after Kamala, man, and jumping on him because Kemp is so popular amongst that right-wing elective in Georgia. And he handed us a gift by going, they're saying that we might get Georgia hands down because of what he did there. So yeah, that's Donald Trump. He doesn't have any issues to run on, so he runs on insults. He's a bad guy. Man, that guy is, hey, what do I say? It's an ongoing theme. Just keep handing them the mic. We don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Well, if we keep handing him the mic, though, you know, one of the things that Hitler said, you know, if somebody keeps repeating a lie over and over again in his book, Mein Kampf, he said everybody began to believe it, even yourself.
Yeah.
That's what Trump is doing. As a matter of fact, when he ran the first time, his niece said he had that book by his bedside, like his Bible, rather than paper. Now he, you know, he appealing to some Christians when he said, "Don't worry if I won't need your vote after this time around because we'll have everything already set up." When he said that, that should have sent shivers through their spine, sitting there listening to that, because he's saying you not only will you not have any more rights, nobody else gonna have any either. That should have changed their mind right there. Yeah. If I'd have been there that's one time, I would have said something. No, partner.
That's the kind of stuff that should be on loops, Jared. The Democrats should have a commercial with that kind of rhetoric on the loops. We are missing it. Jill has said it. We're in for the fight of our lives, and we can't get complacent. We cannot get comfortable. We need to be attacking now. I promise you, because the closer it gets to election days is when the real dirt comes out. That tape of Donald Trump came out a week or so prior to the election with him grabbing people. But I'm telling you, man, it's going to get down to the nitty gritty, and it's warfare, and we need to be fighting. And I hear about the 300 million, but I've got to buy a Kamala sign. Come on, man. We need to be charging full force ahead now.
Yeah, and all this stuff that he done said, we need to be running. I know she's holding off probably to after the convention because they're trying to accumulate much money as possible because they're gonna need close to $1 billion to run this campaign into November. But it's a heavy lift, but she's doing it. I mean, you know, people. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna say Carlton that was supposed to be on with us tonight. He's on with Black Men Strategies for Kamala Harris tonight. They on a call tonight. But yeah, some of them ads, I think they should be running some of them ads on his felonies, his rape charge, his fraud charges, his 2-time impeachment, just a whole host of things. You can put that into a minute ad and run and loop that everywhere on social media everywhere. So, you know, to show who this guy really is. And it's he just got a plethora of stuff that they can use on this person, calling people out of their name. He called Kamala a lunatic, and you know, they picked him up. I got it on here. I saved it. He calling her the B word. I mean, just all kinds of stuff. So
Biden pulls off the doggone biggest prisoner swap in history, and this guy goes on praising Putin. All that stuff should be on loops, man. We gotta be slugging, man. This is a slugfest. But we're back playing nice. Waiting on the convention or waiting on something. I don't know, man. We better get busy. It's subliminal. You gotta run it. You gotta run it.
We need to have that now.
Now.
Because they've already, like, by the time we respond, if we don't respond now, they'll have 2 or 3 more things by the time we respond to this one. It needs to be just as fast. It does not take that long to make these things up and put it out there. It needs to be double the amount of truth circulating on social media than it is
Yeah.
lies. And that
Yeah.
is on us.
Yeah, now I will say, because we were talking about, well, number one, let me first say that we are in a Scambia County. So don't let our lack of what we see on television or advertisement, or let me rephrase, we're in the Escambia, Santa Rosa, Okaloosa, we're in the Panhandle. So don't think that what we are, the lack of, counter ads to President Trump, to former President Trump, is not happening across everywhere else. If we went to Orlando or even just a little bit east of Tallahassee, you would see a different media outlet, but we don't see it here. So we assume that it's not happening. Now, I'm not saying that it couldn't be stepped up, but we just don't see it because we have Clear Channel, we have Sinclair. We don't have the media outlets that are either centered or running to the left. We have completely as far right as possible from a media outlet standpoint. So, I will say that. But what I will say, when we look at the amount of, I am going to give kudos in the social media side to the folks who are running the Kamala HQ account on TikTok, because we talk about not having a grasp of social media, or our messaging is not where it should be. That Kamala HQ account on TikTok is on it, man. They have people who are running that who absolutely understand social media. They understand, I think they're called the sounds. Like TikTok has sounds that you can utilize. They use them correctly. And it's evident when you look at the Trump HQ account versus the Kamala HQ account, they got Kamala has the 3.1 million. Trump ain't got that. They don't even have 1 million. They don't even have 500,000. So when we're looking at it,
don't need no TikTok for Trump, because Trump tell you everything you need to do. Just watch him. They ain't no hidden secret.
But my point is, like when we talk about, the amount of mistruths that circulate on social media, right, and particularly on TikTok, that's been, to me, that has been the breeding ground for young people to get their news sources and get like mistruths or disinformation. That has been the breeding ground of disinformation. You've got 3.1 million people. I mean, I guess it's not a lot compared to what some people have on TikTok. But when you compare it to the opposite, to the opposition, they're doing gangbusters and their stuff works. I actually followed them. I'm like, oh, I like this. It's all right. I'm a little too old to understand it, but I still like it. Nonetheless, when we talk about the level of engagement, I think that youth are getting, with this, what's that white girl who's saying, what's her name?
Taylor Swift.
Yes, thank you. When you see the, what? I just remember her name. But if you look at her, and the amount of youth that follow her, and she's having a concert or benefit, there's just like a Swift, what do you call it, Swifties, Swifters, whatever. For Harris, they've gotten it. You add the Beehive for Harris. You add, I don't know what Megan, huh?
John Legend.
Yeah. Megan Thee
Nobody checking for John Legend.
John Legend said just went for Kamala. I'm just saying.
John Legend. But all right, we talking about like people that young people listen to. John Legend. Okay.
Hey, what I can say to what you just said is that I agree. Again, 90% of what you're saying, except for, I don't know that everybody's going to Kamala HQ or Trump HQ to get their TikTok. I'm just saying.
No, I'm that. Yeah.
But no, you're correct in number. Yeah. I said 90%. Yeah. So you got to let me have the other 10%.
I know you just can't give me 100%, right?
You can't get 100%. Jesus,
I know.
Is the only one get
nobody
100%.
Gets 100.
There
nobody.
You go. Bill, see, Bill and I agree again.
Right.
You don't get 100%. That's God. That's Jesus. We're not him. So 90% is pretty high, especially since you're talking into a population and youthful age that you are now not in because you're old like the rest of us.
Speak for
You are
yourself.
considered old, like the rest of us are considered old. But I do think that they are making a move. I just don't know how we get into those other places, the spaces that they do go to that have the millions and millions that watch it, that will replay something that we know is false. I think that they know is false, but then they share it with their friends and believe it and will just run with it. Like they shared, I'll share this because even my daughter called me, Mom, are you sure Biden's okay? Because they said they haven't heard from him and I don't know how long. Are you sure? Like, we're voting for him. This is before Kamala took over. And she was like, but even my friends are saying all over TikTok, all over our social media, they said that Biden is really, really wherever, sick, gone, left the country, whatever. And I was like, he was just on TV. That's because y'all stay where you are. All you do is turn on the TV. He was just on. He just spoke. That was really Biden. That wasn't like somebody acting like Biden. That was him. But there are those spaces that are not Kamala HQ and Trump HQ that they cross over and they start thinking. If educated young people are literally like, yeah, but I didn't see him. Are you sure? I mean, it's just that quick. It's a statement and they run with it. So while we're fact checking, trying to explain, it's already gone viral. So like Cheryl said, if you don't do it right now, and Bill's saying right now, this second, it's gone. And you can't catch up. You can't catch it with truth after the fact. And they know that. That's why they spew and share and act very comfortably in their lives. Because to them, their lies are truth. And they know by the time anybody, unless you're on point right that moment, that's the same reason that Trump said he don't want to be fact-checked right then. He needs it to sit for half a second. Fact check me when the show is over, not right now. Just give them time for them to repeat it, share it, and then fact check me. I don't care.
Hey, we got Rhonda Moore, Brother Derek. I think she just happens to be white. Says that you can call me a white girl, laugh out loud. God made us all, not me. God made us, not me. LOL, she says. But Samuel X. Clark says, I'm tuning in late. What are the 4 or 5 reasons that young blacks are not voting for Miss Harris or Trump? T. Taylor says, the constant lying is to feed doubt to ensure people don't believe anything anymore. I think Harris is ruling TikTok for Rhonda Moore. She says, makes sense. And then she's chuckling there at you, Brother Derek.
Yeah, I just want to say I do agree with Joe. These kids, because I just had this conversation with one of my sons yesterday, and he asked if he should vote for Kamala because he heard some things. Now, if these are the same memes and reels that I get. I could just imagine if they're targeting young people, it's just, amplified, right? So there are some rumors out there about her prosecuting black men at a higher rate than anybody else. That she's part of some that whole secret cabal and all that. I mean, they're being penetrated in their mind that there's something going on with her that's not cool, and that maybe voting for Trump is somehow better. So with all that we know about him, for this to penetrate into the minds of young people who are intelligent young people, we have to combat that with some more truths and be a little bit more proactive, because they have no limits to how deep they'll go. So we have to be proactive. Even on a local level, if there's anything that we can share or just put out there, or shows like this, and just spreading the message of what is actually being done from our administration.
Well, when you look at what's all this stuff that has been put out there, because when the first time I heard about Kamala Harris had put all these black men in prison and all that, I went and did my own research immediately to see. Come to find out, it was totally the opposite of what was being told about her. The alternative program that she had set up for Black men to keep them from going to prison, the reentry program that she had that was really good. All of these programs that she had set up out there as the attorney, she was the attorney general for the state of California. Now, underneath her is other state's attorney. I mean, what you call them? State's attorneys underneath her that was some of them probably did. If you commit a crime, you're probably going to end up in jail. But then a lot of times, a lot of people didn't have the wherewithal to make bail and all that, so they end up doing time. So, but it has nothing to do with her because she was working on these big cases, like big fraud cases and RICO cases and all of that. So, it had nothing to do with her. And so, but she did set up programs for those who was underserved and was disadvantaged and didn't have the wherewithal to get, what they need to stay out of jail or end up in courts where they had to plead no contest and all of that to end up getting a record or a felony or something. But she was trying to help Black men out there. And it's unfortunate that lie. And you knew why, because they saw her potential. When you see the potential of somebody, it's going to dominate you. You put out what you want to. I'm not talking about us, but this is how they work. This is how politics work. It's a mean game. You got to fight fire with fire many times.
That's right.
But going back to Georgia, Nevada, and Arizona, and saying in Michigan and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, she's, and I'm very skeptical of polls because I know polls don't vote. But they're saying she's leading by 50 to 46, something like that in
Wayne
Michigan,
State, those three,
Wisconsin, and and by having those governors there, I think that's going to help her tremendously in those states because they are really working hard to get her elected in those states, especially the governor of Michigan and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, because I saw all of them in the last few days talking, and they was pushing hard. And she was in all those states, and the crowds just overwhelmed. When she went to Nevada out there, they had every venue that she had set up, they had to change, I believe, all of the venues because there were so many people.
Yeah.
So, and then I think in Michigan, it was 40-some thousand people signed up, but they could only get about 15,000 in the arena or something like that. But it was 40-some thousand people requested to come there, and they stood in that line for a long time. I'm like, I don't know if I stood that long out there. So,
yeah. Hey, old Bloody Sunday, she did really, really well up there in Selma, man. I'm just glad to have been a part of that.
Yeah,
this past March. That was awesome.
She really was good down there. But what do you think about the mayor, the Republican mayor that's endorsing her now in Arizona? Derek?
That's all I can say.
You have to understand Arizona now. Arizona was the last to solidify MLK Day, y'all. I mean, Arizona has been a traditional red state, man. And
I don't think they celebrate MLK.
No, they do. But it was one of the last. They were the last all the way, bro.
Yeah, they were the last to make it become part of the national holiday. They fought long as they could to keep it away, but they were losing money when those
big games stuff. Yeah,
big games said that we ain't coming. They changed it real quick.
Right. So we just have to understand what Arizona is, and then to have the Republicans. But to me, I always thought it was just a matter of time before genuine Republicans of goodwill would see the light. And I think that not only in Arizona, but I think there's a wave going on throughout our country because people can see substance. And even I've heard Republicans saying that they're so sick of the name calling, man. Talk about some issues. Tell us something, I mean, that's important, that's going to affect our lives. But she's nasty and she laughs a lot. And I mean, man, come on, man. So, yeah, that's a good thing over there in Arizona, what's happening. But I think there's a movement throughout the country, actually.
I think that a lot of it is also that these people are men and women before they're a part of anybody's political party. So when you have someone who, convicted of 34 counts, someone who has incited an insurrection on the country, someone who has mocked and called military veterans and heroes, losers and things like that. When you go through all of the negative things that he's done, and the worst you can say about this woman is that she laughs funny. Like, come on now. Like,
I know.
It's no brainer.
They don't, right. They don't have anything. So, hey.
See that you just said something, Cheryl. I just go back to it. It struck me like, I don't think that they recognized the 34 felony count. When I go back to Wednesday with John Roberts, he looked me in my face and looked in that camera screen, and told the people watching that Donald Trump was convicted solely of one felony.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm sorry, you mean 34? He was like, no, it's just one. And I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know what math goes from 1 to 34, but all right. I don't like, it's like, what do you see I guess to your point, Bill, I'm not fact checking that, because we clearly saw 34 counts come in. How you determine it's one, I don't understand. But all right,
okay, all right.
All right,
Maybe he was talking about that one rape that he was convicted for.
He was like, it's just one felony.
I think to him it's just one. To them it's just one. They just lump them all. They don't care if he has 1,000. It's just
there you
one.
go. There you go.
One.
It's just one.
And I'm like, what? No, 34. He was like, no, just one. And it made me think, maybe I misheard what we were talking about. Maybe he was talking about the rape. I know we were talking about felony convictions, right?
But Derek, let me ask you a question. Did he say it with a straight face?
He did.
Wait, listen, and you clearly did not, because we see your eyes already. I can't imagine. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it.
Them eyes tell the
But more importantly, what I was gonna say is he said it with a straight face because they absolutely believe it. And how you just said, I had to think for a minute and say, are we talking about the rape or are we talking about the 34? Because I know. What do you think everybody else is doing? That's why they spew the lie. Because it makes even those of us that know the truth think.
Yep. What I want to know,
that's a prime example of why they do what they do.
I want to know, what difference does it make? One is enough.
It should
one
be,
conviction
since he
is
blocks
enough.
Everybody else in Florida from being able to vote with just one.
Yeah.
I recall them chanting, lock her up, some years ago. When there was no charges were she wasn't convicted of anything.
Yeah.
But it was lock her up. And now he's actually been convicted not once, not twice, 34 for those one set of charges. Then you have the sexual assault rape. So I don't understand at this point, I don't even care to understand their logic. It's just like Walt said, weird that they would continue the party of family values and all this high moral compass to engage that. It's just weird.
Derek, I think Cheryl just answered your question. She said the one set of charges, even though he had 34 convictions, it was the one set of charges.
Because he literally tried to
He had
explain to me
one
why it
set
was
of
just one.
charges.
Oh, from that one. Okay.
No, you're right. I'm saying it was one set of charges. There's 34 of them. He was convicted of all of them, but to them, they just see one set. That all goes together. It's all
Like, he literally tried to walk me through. He's like, no, it was just another. I'm like,
just one.
what?
One set.
Like,
They're all
He
go
okay.
almost called it like a witch hunt, like it was like the Democrats did it, trying to attack him or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Biden's right. The Department of Justice. Yeah, that's how they spin it.
Yeah.
But then when Hunter got convicted, then it wasn't Biden's. Man, it's crazy. That's why I keep telling Vern, man, don't get you can't chase all that stuff down, man.
Yeah, but it still need to be corrected some kind of way, because if we got there, that's hanging in somebody's mind that's not.
But the 34 felons don't need to be corrected in no kind of way. But
and the only correction that we can give them is to vote for Kamala and get his behind out of the picture completely. That's how you prove to them the truth.
Pensacola local TV and talking about it was only one charge, and you and the world know it was 34. Man, you don't want to spend no time with that there.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. Like I just said, okay.
I think I have it for the beginning of these commercials. It should start off with something like, do you remember when hearing the news wasn't so confusing? Do you remember a time where we could just actually get truth from the people that, stood behind the camera on the news? Like, just taking it back.
This guy have stolen secrets. We know he's a convicted felon.
Right.
He betrayed. He said he wanted to betray our Constitution. He claimed credit for getting the people that Joe Biden just got home. He allowed his vice president to say, because they thought Trump was gonna win, and rename them go. He compromised the national security of this country. And the one of the things when Vernon said that the guardrails, that we thought we had guardrails to protect us from people like Trump, and we found out there were no guardrails. That the Constitution was about, if you believe in it, you will hold to it, but there's no mechanism that enforces it. Here's a person that had 34, really 35 felons when you add that rape charge in the fraud charges and all of those other charges that's in there. When you look at the stealing of top secrets that should not have been outside of a skiff, the insurrection, all of these things add up to something that this person should never set foot in the White House or any other political elected office anywhere in the world anymore.
Hey, Jerry,
he should be running the jail cell.
Our system, Jerry, democracy is just like an all-volunteer army.
Yeah.
Okay, it's only as good as the good people that's behind it. You get bad people behind it, then we're gonna have a bad system. We got good people behind it, but it's not a lot of stuff not codified. And they didn't think it had to be codified because they didn't want to be under the same system that we ran from over when King was in charge. That's what that's what they came to this country to avoid. But here we are.
Yeah.
And I don't think the founding fathers thought it was necessary, because they thought that when they built this system, that everybody's going to say, okay, this is the way we want to. This is where we want to live. This is the democracy that we want to have. But I guess they didn't anticipate folks like Trump coming in. But now here we are.
And they should have anticipated that, because that's what they were running from.
Yeah.
And they should.
That's right.
Guardrails up in that place in the Constitution with a mechanism to enforce those laws so that nobody could, even the Supreme Court could not override it. The Constitution in that way when it comes to somebody ruling the country. And what has happened, the Supreme Court has set up a king system.
Yeah, that's right.
They set up a king system. And for the next president that's coming in, this is why this man should never be president. And he praises Putin and all of the dictators around the world and said out loud that he want to be a dictator from day one. And then other day said that, I really won't need your vote, because now they're putting people in place around the country to not certify the vote. And that could lead to a breakdown of law and order in the country.
Yeah, Jerry, I think the problem is you like the Supreme Court. And I think the mistake that we made is giving the Supreme Court lifetime appointments. Okay,
right.
And so that's what Trump want to do. He want to give himself a lifetime appointment as president and everything else. So that is what monarchies is all about. This is not a democracy. And I think Biden is right about trying to correct that wrong and making those Supreme Court justices have term limits and so forth.
Right.
If you give them a lifetime appointment, they're going to take advantage, just like Clarence Thomas and Lolito and all those folks. They take advantage of the system because they know that what can you do? What can you do after you give them a lifetime appointment? Fire them?
Right.
How can you?
We've been saying this for years, that they should not have a lifetime appointment. That it should be just like in South Africa. You 15 years, you out. Unless the president and the House and all the Senate, the Parliament over there want you back. That you done did something great or good that people want you back. But they should not have, before. When you go back and look at the appointment of Supreme Court justice in the past, they was in their late 50s and 60s. Because, that's why they say a lifetime appointment, because they weren't living that long you're going to be in there 40 or 50 years. Right. Like Clarence Thomas and all them, they've been in there 30 or 40 years. Yeah. They should have never been there that long. And they say
at all.
They have corrupted the whole system of justice in this country. And then they are allowing private prisons to pop up and just flood America. And then the state has to be responsible for keeping 80% capacity. And that means that everybody around there has to be almost corrupt, from the police department, from police officers, to judges, to prosecutors, on down. And the one, when you get good prosecutors who are saying, no, we're not going to prosecute this, they take them out of power. They find a way to get rid of them quickly, because the prosecutors say, I'm here for justice, not just to put people away, And so, like in Philly, there's another place where the guy lost. I can't think of the place, but anyway, he was working to make sure that people who was innocent get out of prison, and they went after him. They got rid of them, and they are after the guy in Philly that's working to make sure people that so they'll send shivers through anybody else that want to do that kind of work, to make sure that people are not being unjustly sent to prison for no reason except the color of their skin most of the time, or if they're disadvantaged or don't have the wherewithal to get themselves out of prison. So this is what they are doing, and it's corrupting the whole of America, really. Derek, put it back in your hand. We got about 7 minutes.
So what I would say is, for those of you who, as we were just talking about the lifelong appointments for the Supreme Court, I don't know if you all saw that Biden has now introduced, he's going to be introducing or working with the Congress to push his acts and bills in that will put term limits on those folks, and have to declare interests and financial interests and everything else, and have to recuse themselves when they have conflicts. So I think that is a step in the right direction, but that only works if he has a Congress that can push that through, right? Yeah. So that means that we need to do our part so that if he sets up this as something that our incoming president Kamala Harris, because I'm declaring it now, can put in to practice with a Democratic Congress and a Democratic Senate, so we can actually see some true change. But again, all of that is dependent on you, the viewing public, to make sure that you get out and exercise your voice through your vote this election cycle.
Okay, Rhonda Moore, let me get these in because they're, I'm so glad that we got an active Facebook stream tonight. But Rhonda Moore says we're spending a ton of money to protect his adulterous extended family. Secret Service, no other president needs that much Secret Service. But Samuel X says, I think the best thing the Harris campaign can do to garner the swing black vote is to stop fear-mongering and address what specifically they're going to do for black people and not use the term minority, which really means white women and LGBT. Samuel X. Clark on our Facebook stream. We have to read all the but we want to be fair and give everybody their say, so we can't just read the ones we.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead, Derek.
No, I wanted to share with you one of the videos that are out now, and we have 2 minutes. So if you don't mind, I will just play that for you all so that you can see it. So I think it's relatively moving, but.
One that has yet to come true. It was freedom for some, freedom for the few, until we, the people, rose up and came together. From the Underground Railroad to Standing Rock, from Stonewall to Selma. We've pushed America towards that dream of freedom again and again and again. But there have always been those who use fear and division to cling to power. Now, once again, they are threatening to take away our freedoms, to control our own bodies, to vote and have the will of the people prevail, to love who we love. Progress often seems impossible. The truth is, we decide what's possible. You decide what's possible. We can build a country where all of us are free to thrive, a place where equality, justice, and liberty are real. And someday, when the next generation asks what we did in this moment to protect our freedoms, we'll be able to say everything we could.
Where is that playing at, Derek?
You can find that on, starting this week, it'll be on the home pages of all the Democratic Party pages, at least on Escambia, Santa Rosa, Opelousas, and so forth. It is also on our social media pages as of right now.
That's powerful. Oh, we could. You're mute, Vern.
Oh, I said we need to be playing that on television as well.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah.
All we could. What did you do? All we. I love it.
I know Joe Biden is supposed to be campaigning. Is it this week there with Kamala Harris?
It is this week.
That's going to be huge, emotional, and and that's good because then people love Joe Biden as well. So that's going to be powerful. That's going to be a powerful image out there with him and Kamala together. And I don't know how many times he's going to go out. It might be just this time only, but it's going to be good to see him out there anyway. Our time is just about up. I want to do my books real quick. This is called Ancient Future, the Teaching and Prophet Wisdom of the Seven Hermetic Laws of Egypt, and by Wayne D. Chandler. Stolen Legacy. I always recommend this book here, Stolen Legacy by George M. James, and From Babylon to Timbuktu, which is by Rudolph Windsor. So those are my recommended books for this week. And we hope that everybody have a great week coming up. Derek, back to you.
Okay, well, again, as Mr. McIntosh said, we thank you for joining us this week for another edition of Our Voices. Please make sure you pay attention to the Democratic National Convention happening this week. To all of our delegates, best of luck. Come back on fire and let's get ready to make the change that we need in Northwest Florida, the state of Florida, and these United States. Until next week, everybody, thank you for joining us and have a great evening.
Good night, everybody.
Hey.